Hey everybody, welcome to the socaldramtram. It's your boy Cesar.
And I'm Matt. And today we have the finale, the pièce de résistance of our budget month. That's all the French I know, other than oui. But we have the #1 budget whiskey from our budget month series. That's right, folks. We've been through #5, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. #4, Larceny Bourbon. #3, Johnny Walker Black, aged 12 years. #2, Tullamore Dew, which leaves us with Evan Williams, Bottled in Bond. That's right, folks. Evan Williams, Bottled in Bond, presented at 50% ABV. This guy... Man, was I happy to see this guy come in at #1. I got to tell you, folks, so I picked this one up based on, I think I first saw it, was it the Whiskey Tribe? It was either Whiskey Tribe or Scotch Test Dummies. I can't exactly remember which one that I saw it on first. And they were kind of talking about it just being like quintessential American bourbon. And it's bottled in bond. For those of you who don't know what bottled in bond is, bottled in bond means that it was created under stricter conditions. The government good Lord, I can't even talk. The government is going to go ahead and have a hand in kind of how it is produced. Has to be at 100 proof or 50% ABV. It has to be a minimum of 4 years aged. And there's a whole bunch of other things that go into making this whiskey. There's a government agent on site in the actual warehouse.
24 hours a day.
Exactly. Like if I want to go in and test the whiskey that I'm making and Cesar the government agent, he has to come in and monitor me when I'm actually tasting this whiskey. So it's a whole thing. But I will tell you, based on our original tasting notes, based on how highly we scored this, we were using a 10-point scale. So basically 1 to 10, whatever added up between the two of us, that was obviously going to be the score. And this one definitely scored the highest. Obviously, it's #1. Duh. But it kind of blew away everything else. And I was really happy to see it do it. Not only because I really like this bourbon, but it's $16.
Yeah.
It's $16. I routinely see it on the shelf for about $15.49. Don't go looking on the top shelf though, folks. This is literally going to be on your bottom shelf. I don't care if it's at Total Wine. I don't care if it's at Bevmo. I don't care if it's at Albertsons. It's going to be on the bottom shelf. But it goes to show that when you put it in a blind challenge, when you put it up against some of the other best whiskeys that you may think are out there, you'd be surprised how much one can surprise you. This is a guy that definitely punches above its weight class, and it definitely deserves to be #1, at least in my book. And again, just to kind of run through the price points, $24, $22, although I got it for $18, $24, $19, $16. That's right, folks. You heard it first. This guy, lowest price bourbon, comes in at #1.
The top 2 came in as the lowest price point of all 10 bottles, folks. That is the beauty of a blind challenge right there.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, like, doing the blind challenge through this whole thing, that was probably the most fun experience. I mean, we went live on Instagram stories on it. If you didn't get a chance to check it out.
Hey, thanks for all 2 of you that tuned in. Love you guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks to New Dram Drinker tuning in. And
his wife for tuning in. Thank you.
It was super fun, but more importantly, it was really kind of a humbling experience, if you will, because, you know, I expected like Johnny Walker to play super high because I got it directly from the nose. I expected some of these other whiskeys behind us to do better. But here it is, your $16 bourbon coming in at #1. So I'm excited to kind of revisit this. As you can see, I haven't hit it too much because I wanted to save it for the review. But this is something that really impressed me. If you haven't had a chance to try this, I know we're kind of rambling before we even get into the whiskey, but it deserves it. You know what I mean? It came in #1 in our blind. So it's one of those things to where it goes to show when you put the whiskey to the test, which one's going to stand up. And I think this guy is more than enough to provide an example for quintessential American bourbon, but more importantly, the flavor and the complexity you can get out of something that's $16. That's what blew me away more than anything with all of this. So you'll definitely see more blind challenges from us in the future. Maybe we'll figure out a way, if we ever get a chance to do a live show, to do a blind challenge with each other on the live stream, because it'd be something that's super fun. We had a really good time doing it.
Sure.
We had 10 whiskeys, we had 2 loaves of French bread, and just a good time all around. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into the nose. Before I do that though, one last thing. Coins today. I'm going to be using Old Soul Whiskey Guy. This is his cast number 2 coin from 2019. Old Soul, you're going to be putting out a cast number 3 because we want it. So we appreciate you, man. If you haven't checked him out on Instagram, check him out. Biking with Whiskey, fantastic. Also, his stories, kind of hilarious. Who are you using?
For my coaster coin, I'm once again using Aquavite, because I love all of his reviews. His reviews are amazing, and especially since he's from Scotland and you guys, you talk like this and all that. My topper coin is I smell Mazaplan, because I love Mazaplan from Mazatlan.
I love it. This every time you do the Scottish accent, I just think of Short Round from Indiana Jones. I don't know why, but it just makes me think of that. But hey, Sean, Scotch for Dummies, the boys in Indiana, we love you.
Hey,
Roy, Aquavite, we love you. He's using the coin. I'm wearing the shirt. If you haven't checked out Recycle Reviews, go check it out. Also, Whiskey Guy, brother, we love you, man. So let's get into this whiskey. We've talked long enough.
So the smell, I'm not going to lie, folks. When you first poured it, I was like, I don't know. When you first poured it, I'm not going to lie. It smelled like if your dad barbecued yesterday and then you go to that barbecue the next afternoon and open it and just stick your nose in there and smell it. I think that's what it smelled like at first. I was like, it smells like yesterday's barbecue grill that needs to be cleaned if you opened it. But now that it's been sitting, it's only been sitting for like, 4 or 5 minutes that we've been talking. And wow, it is a way, way sweeter smell than my dad's barbecue grill that I got the first time it was poured. So definitely let it sit a little bit, folks. Let it sit a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's 50% ABV, right? This is basically just shy of cask strength for $16. But nonetheless, you're kind of on the money with the nose in terms of the barbecue smoke, right? Again, we've kind of talked about it a little bit. I love to barbecue. Like, one of my favorite things during the summer is actually, setting up the smoker for a long haul cook, whether it's a pork butt, whether it's some ribs or a brisket or chicken, whatever the case may be. I love that stuff. Like, I love setting up for the long haul. And yeah, this does give you a little bit, but it's not like a burn smoke. No. It's kind of like say you're doing a pork butt, right? Like, so I do a pork butt and it gets all the treatment. It gets the 5-star treatment. And so you set it on the grill, you let it go for 4 hours, you check it every once in a while, then you take it off, you wrap it, you let it go for 2 hours, and you take it off, you unwrap it, you put some sauce on it. That's the critical part. When you put that sauce on it and that sauce hits the coals and you start to get that sweet smoke, it's no longer like a wood smoke, but you get like the burnt sugars from the barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting out of this. Yeah. You get the brown sugar. You even get, obviously, the vanilla, obviously the cherry, but it's just amped up because of that 50%. And like,
I'm not going to lie, folks, like, this is really good stuff. I want to call it Evan Williams bottled James Bond, because James Bond is a low-key agent that, you don't know until he's at your face and you dead by that time. This
depends on the Bond you're watching. Pierce Brosnan, he's like, oh, I'm going to do you right now.
So this one, Evan Williams bottled James Bond, is low-key, because if I saw that price point, and then I saw how high it was in alcohol, I'm like, no way it could be that high in alcohol, that low in price point, so that must mean it is garbage whiskey. So I would have never, ever even think twice to look at this bottle after I saw the price point and the alcohol percentage. I'm like, if it's that high, there's no way it could be good. But oh boy, am I glad about that blind challenge, because this is great stuff. And even though it's a twist cap, which I usually don't like, I would.
By the way, it's one of 2 twist caps in this lineup, so I just want to point out that the twist caps made it into the top 5, keeping it classy, and you can't spell classy without assy.
Assy. But anyways, yeah, this is a twist cap I am willing to buy, and I will buy and leave it on my shelf because boy oh boy, the notes you get off of this rank well just with those $40-$50 bourbons, and it blows my mind, and I would have never guessed it. So thank you, James Bond.
So here's my thing, right? You kind of nailed it on the head, right? I've seen this on the shelves, and I'm always like, their black label's like $10. Their middle of the road, I think, is like $14, and this is $16. And whenever I've seen it, I'm like, I don't know about that. Then I saw the reviews on it, and I was just like, these guys are kind of hyping it. Like, I didn't know if that was just kind of the hype behind the price or, whatever. Then I picked it up, and I was just kind of like, holy crap balls. Like, this is something that kind of rocked my socks. And I know, like, is it the best bourbon out there? No, but you have to look at value for the price point, for the complexity that's in the bottle, and for how much booze you're getting in the bottle. Again, 50% ABV. I'm reminded, Scotch for Dummies, they just started doing some re-reviews, and they did Monkey Shoulder. This is a bottle that literally everybody has tried, right? We haven't reviewed it yet. We've got it on the bar. In fact, it's somewhere right here. And we're going to review it. But it's one of those bottles that you're like, man, this is like a quintessential blended scotch, right? This is something that you could recommend to anybody. It's not offensive or anything. This is this for me. I can recommend it to anybody who's kind of curious about whiskey. Maybe they've had some harder alcohol and they're like, oh, I want to try some whiskey. And I'm like, well, let's see. Maybe I try you with a Monkey Shoulder. Maybe I try you with a Larceny and see if you can handle the proof. Then be like, hey, let me rock your socks, because this guy just comes out punching. It punches way above its weight class, but my bar will never be without this now, especially at $16. And this is why I'm so happy that we did this budget series. I got to thank a buddy of mine, Jesse, who was really pushing for this. He's running for #budget-year. It's not going to happen, bud. I love you, but it's not going to happen. But we may revisit this kind of a thing every once in a while, because it's something to kind of keep in mind, because you should stay conscious of your budget whenever you're buying whiskey. But it goes to show that you can find some stuff that's really good out there. And even all 10 whiskeys that we tried are good whiskeys. That's the cool thing about this, is like, even though the other 5 didn't place higher, I would still drink them. You know what I mean? You got a single malt scotch, you got a blended scotch, you got an Irish whiskey, you've got bourbon, all that good stuff. So this is one of those that, like, I'm not ashamed to pour for anybody. And if you can't handle it neat, that's okay. We're going to go ahead and put it on some rocks for you. We're going to go ahead and put in some Coke, and I guarantee you're going to have some of this. So I know we're kind of talking a little bit more about this one, but again, it's number one. It's going to deserve some conversation. Otherwise, what's the point? So I did drop 3 drops of water. Have you put any water on it yet?
I did. I haven't tasted it, but that smell, it's like Sharpie straight to my nose. Like, it cringed my nose hairs when I smelled it. I was like, wow.
So let me ask you, when did you drop the water on it?
Hey, right now.
Right now? So I dropped the water on about 2 minutes ago. And at first was the same thing, right? I would have F-bombed it too. Maybe you can put like a little bleep sound or put a censor sign over your face. I don't know. Steven Richards, WWE. You know what I'm talking about? But after a few minutes, the water really tones it down. It kind of rounds it out. And it's kind of, I think it was on the Larceny, or I can't remember. There was one of these where I kind of talked a little bit about like an apple pie note, right? Like that crust of an apple pie. And I'm really starting to get that. But because it's bourbon, I'm getting like a cherry pie. Like a Marie Callender's holiday cherry pie. Like, I'm getting that bread note from the malty crust. I'm still getting that sweet cherry, and the alcohol burn when I first dropped the water on.
Yeah, it's gone
really
now.
mellowed
It's
out.
gone.
So I'm excited to see how it tastes.
I can stick my nose in there and smell it now. Ooh, never mind.
Oh yeah, brown sugar, vanilla, the cherry, the water for me really kind of blows everything up.
Wow, yeah, that flavor is on point.
And I think that's what happened, right? When we did the blind, I think once we dropped the water in, 3 drops of water was the standard in all 10 glasses. I think because the way the water reacts, and this probably wasn't the first one that we tried going backwards. So the way we kind of had it set up, we had 10 glasses. He started at one end, I started the other. I'm guessing this was somewhere in the middle. So that way when the water went in, by the time we both got to it, it was like,
wow.
Oh yeah.
Compared to the rest,
this is gonna rock your socks. So again, guys, for me, with the water, with the neat, I'll have it every way. I'll have it any day. For $16, hell yeah, yay. I'm working on my rhymes. I'm not as good as this one. But nonetheless, for this guy, $16, 50% ABV. The complexity that's in here, it's bottled in bond. I don't know if that plays a factor in my score. Is it a 5 for a budget whiskey? I think it is. You know what I mean? Is it something that, like, does it compare to a Teapot Dram or a Glendronach 18? No. I will tell you that right now. No, it doesn't. For $16, it does. For $16, you get a lot of complexity here. For $16, you get a lot of value. You can get a handle of it for $32. You know what I mean? Like, and treat it as your well whiskey. So for me, it's a 5 because, again, it presents a lot of value at $16. It's cheaper than the rest of everything in this entirety of the 10 whiskey lineup, and it's the best tasting, for our opinion, because, again, it scored the highest. So I can say that before Cesar even reviews it. So for me, it's a 5. Where are you going?
So I'm gonna keep it simple and quick. If this was priced at $40 with other bourbons, I'd be like, oh, it's actually, I'd give it a solid 3. But since this is priced at $16 for what this gives, I am 100% giving this a solid 4. It's a solid 4 for me. That's all the trams, or all the drams and the dram, I guess. Yeah. All I gotta say is Evan Williams bottled James Bond.
It's a 4 from him. It's a 5 from me. It's a cheers from the two of us.
Hey.
Thanks for sticking around for our budget series, guys. Do me a favor. Let us know in the comments. Number 1, have you had Evan Williams? Do you like it? Do you think we're crazy? Do you think I'm nuts because I handed out another 5?
What's your favorite budget whiskey?
Absolutely, guys. There's plenty of budget whiskeys out there. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know. We're going to do this again at some point, so we'd love to have some more feedback on what whiskeys to include. Don't worry. The other 5 that were in this lineup, we're going to review those too and kind of let you know our thoughts on it. But hit the comments. Let us know what you thought. Did you like this series? Do us a favor. Like the video, hit the bell for notifications, and be sure to subscribe if you're new here. Totally blanked on what I was going to say. Go ahead, hit the bell for notifications, subscribe if you're new, but more importantly, if you're new here, we appreciate you hanging about. If you're returning to us, hey guys, we appreciate you coming back as always. Again, if it were 5 of you, if it's 100 of you, we appreciate all of you guys. We recently broke 100 subscribers. We can't thank you guys enough, and we're going to keep going. Check us out on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at socaldramtram. We appreciate you guys for hanging about. Anything else you want to add?
Now, what about you, Matt?
You know what comes next. All aboard! Catch you next time. Hey, everybody. Hope you liked that video.
Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications.
And don't forget to subscribe.